Hello, my name is Dan the Man with ColeMizeStudios, and I'm here with a very special guest. And we're here to talk about a very serious matter.
Just introduce me already, Dan.
Okay. We're here with a mad rapper, and we have his identity protected
Dan!
for his own safety. Okay, dang it. Anyways, what's wrong, man? What's wrong with you? What's up, man?
Dan, I'm mad.
I know.
Well, Dan, you gotta understand. You've been doing it for a long time. You love to write. It's your passion. You love to help people. But then, at some point in time, Dan, that all crashes. And it's like, poof, big flames. You can't work with everybody, Dan. To sum it all up.
Well, tell me this. Can you mark a spot where all the madness began? Take us back there. What happened?
Well, I was, the group that I was working with, the producer that I was working with a few years ago, had me just focusing on my own project. And I would want to reach out to others, but I understand why they just said no. Let's just focus on what we have here. Because the moment you do that, it could take your focus off of what it needs to be on, and then you could be all over the place. You can end up burned out. You can end up tired and losing that fire, Dan.
Right. And do you feel like your fire is kind of burning out? Or?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You get that way, Dan.
And no one else is really going to look out for you on that but yourself, right?
You're paying for your studio time for their feature.
True. And they usually don't even offer to pay for it, or?
No, not really, Dan. You just wake up in the morning and there's a track in your inbox. It's kind of like, and there's a track.
I mean, how's that happen? You're on stage, you're ripping it, you're doing your thing, and you get up. I mean, what, people are just coming up to you randomly? Hey, man, get on the track, get on the track. Really?
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get inboxes. Sometimes you get text messages. Sometimes you get calls, Dan. Really? Sometimes you get calls.
And I mean, how does that work out? They're like, hey, I got a track, or is it like, hey, I like the way you rap, let's get on the track together?
Dan, you have the ones that you would really like to work with, but I feel like as an artist, is there not anything that you want to say on your own track? 2 verses, 3 verses. But sometimes I think, well, first of all, Dan, I think there's a big difference between rap and being an artist. Okay? A lot of times rap, you may want people on your track just because of whatever's going on in your head. You want whatever person on your track. But an artist, I feel like an artist, if they have something to say, they're going to pour out, and sometimes there's not room for anybody else.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
It's not a selfish thing, Dan.
Right. Well, I mean, let's be real. Even from the other perspective of someone else wanting to collaborate with another person, that could even be selfish.
Yep.
You know, it could be someone maybe wanting another artist on their track for bragging rights, for maybe to get a little more popular, or I mean, there could be selfishness in that area.
That's true, Dan. You're a very smart man. I like your interviews.
Thank you. I try to look into stuff and, be a little knowledgeable before I go into it.
Well, let me ask you a question. You don't have anybody want to collaborate interviews with you, do they?
No, I have tons of people who want me to interview them, though.
I rest my case, Dan.
And to your point, do I want to interview you? Who are you? And a lot of these people are strangers.
Exactly.
But they like what they see, and they want to partake of it. They want to, not everybody, but some people want to benefit from fruit where they did not labor. And tell me what you got to have a filter, right?
You do.
You can't accept everything that comes your way.
You do.
You got to have the standard. You got to have some type of filter.
You do.
Any advice on how do you filter?
First of all, Dan, as a Christian, that doesn't mean that you're a yes man. So you don't have to say yes to everybody who comes across and says, hey, I want you to get on my track. You will be at peace with the ones that God leads you to be on the track with. Singers, it doesn't have to be rappers all the time, on tracks together. But the filter is just knowing who you want to work with, and the people who don't just come out and say, hey, get on my track, or they'll ask you different questions like, hey, how much do you charge to get on the track? And it's definitely not about money because, you know, in the Christian community, it's, you know, people run from that and all of a sudden you're not saved when you talk money for some reason. But there is a big filter when people, those are the type of people you want to work with. When people really care, they genuinely care, and they're like, hey, I really want you on my track, but hey, let's get to know one another. Let's build relationships.
Right.
Tell me what does it take for me to get you on some music?
Okay. Right. I think that's really good advice, and it does take a lot from you as an artist to be pouring out like that.
Oh, I'm mad, Dan.
Wow. Do you ever feel empty, like you're just
Oh,
drained?
Dan, yeah.
And when you go to work on your own music, you don't even want to because
No.
you're just
Oh, Dan.
bummed out.
No.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with all the people out there before we close this out? Or
Well, I just want to say that I'm not changing my name to the Collaborator. That's not who I am. Don't get me wrong, I love to collaborate, but feel led about who you're going to do music with. And just because you're a rapper or artist, whatever you call yourself, doesn't mean that everybody and their mom has to be on the track with you. Let us see your creativity.
right. Well, I think that about does it.
Oh, I'm mad, Dan.
I know, man.
Oh.
I think that about does it for our interview with the mad rapper. And just take into consideration what he said. And just know that this is an issue. This is an epidemic.
I'm going to use the bathroom.
And okay, and we need to really. Ow! Oh, hold on 1 second.
And we need to really take this serious, and we need to really think about how this is affecting other people. I'm Dan the Man with ColeMizeStudios, Mad Rapper, we're signing off. Is my voice deeper now? I'm the Mad Rapper.